sign, and I'll do the opening.
We are on. We're going with the Metal Maniac here, back for the third time.
That's right, it's the Metal Maniac, the third time, right here at the pinnacle of professional wrestling for all over the world. It's Hannibal TV. I love it. I love being on this show. And Hannibal is a world traveler. He's been everywhere and back. And he has got coverage. He's got interviews. And he's got me back on from the middle of the Pacific Ocean on this little speck called Hawaiian Islands. Look, brother. Look at that. That's the Maniac. You didn't know that was the Maniac. You didn't know I had a doll, too. Brother, I just want you to know I love your coverage and the things that you are doing. It's just an amazing trip watching. I mean, I've gone back to the beginning, and I've seen interviews with you driving in the car with Steiner and this one and that one and superstar Billy Graham. Holy cannolis, Batman. Unbelievable. So, I just wanted to show you guys something since we're talking about the Metal Maniac. And, and the brother's just giving me the floor. And if you're out there in television wonderland, as the Superfly used to say, I want to show you something. You see this? This is called Grand Masters of Wrestling. And it had King Kong Bundy on it, Jimmy Snuka, and Ken Patera was doing his color commentating with the Super Maccabee and whatever. This thing was sold, unbeknownst to us, 15 years after the show. It was sold at Walmarts across the United States and maybe internationally. I don't know. In the dollar bin. This DVD till this day, and you can look online and find out what I'm about to say is absolutely true. This DVD was not the highest grossing because it was only sold for $1, but it was the highest selling wrestling DVD ever. And right here on the back, let me put my 4 eyes on so I know I can just zoom it right in here for you. Right here on the back, where is it? It says, the Metal Maniac versus Jimmy Snuka. Right there. Oop. Right there. Just so I'm holding it just so you can really see it. Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Bingo. And this thing, we never, Bundy, Bam Bam was on the show, Sheiky, Freddie Blassie, Ken Patera, you name it, this card was packed. And no one ever signed a document saying you could sell this thing. This was a show for a fundraiser for a school, and they just had us sign a document that said, look, you won't sue us if you get hurt. That was it, which is usually like usually the building wants you to do it just in case of the building's rider doesn't get it if you got hurt. Well, so this guy named Gold, I'm not going to say his name because he's a piece of garbage. So he sells this thing, doesn't give any of us a nickel. But if you go on to YouTube and just enter Metal Maniac versus Jimmy Snuka, don't put this Metal Maniac versus Jimmy Snuka Part 1, Part 2, and it's the actual match without all the doodads of the production of what they did. And it's because they gave me a copy of my match. And Ken Patera is there, and I know you had him on. I texted him, and I said, Mr. Patera, I remember when I was a kid and your back was against the wall and you had your feet up on the van, and the van was burning out, and it was just proved that he was the strongest man on earth. And it was just amazing. And I told him I had so much fun with him. He didn't know who I was. I know this is exactly what happened. He's in the back. He comes out. He does this thing. I come out. I'm on the thing with the microphone, and I keep going back to him. I keep going back to him. And I know he doesn't know me from Adam. And I know he's keep looking at him, and he's looking at the other guy next to him with the tuxedo talking. And I keep coming back to him. Every time I got the heat, Jimmy, everything I did, I crawled over and I looked at him, and he says, and I'm not kidding you, on the video, he says, "Hey, Maniac, if you come over here one more time, I'm gonna take this bell and I'm gonna break it over your head." And I at that moment, he wasn't working it. He meant it. So we do the finish flying crossbody because that ring was the shits, and Jimmy said, "Hey, there ain't no water in this pool, flying crossbody." So we do that, and Jimmy goes to the back. I lay out, gotta lay out, and I get to the back, and who's waiting for me just inside the door but Ken Patera? I guess he must have spoke to Jimmy and said, "Who is this kid? I'm gonna slap him in his friggin' mouth." But Jimmy said, "No, he's just working the gimmick." And he was sitting right there, and I gave him a big hug, and that was the one and only time with Kent Patera's story that I had. And all I got to say is, he texted me. He was kind enough to text back on the messenger through the Facebook, and it was just really great. But you gotta go on. You don't have to buy this piece of crap because none of us got any money from it. We sued and nothing ever happened. Walmart said, "Hey, they had the paperwork squared," but really wasn't. So, Ken Patera, he really, you can see. So it's like I said, you go to YouTube and just put in Metal Maniac versus VS Jimmy Snuka Part 1, Part 2, and you'll see it. And I come out with the Hawaiian, real green lei. Not like the ones that are pretty like the girls wear. This is like the real heavy duty Kanaka Maoli Hawaiian lei that's like it's got to be a good 5.5 feet long, and it's really very cool. So we had talked about just showing some of the history of where I started and kind of how this all came about. And how I came up with the character. But before we even get there, you had asked me, "Hey, do you got any pictures from the music business?" Now, there's not a lot here from the music business because the pictures back then were horrible. It wasn't like today with the cell phones. But what I can show you is this guy right here. He just recently passed away. He was really the backbone of Kool and the Gang. And this is right about maybe when I first broke into the business. It's just right around 92, 93 in West Orange, New Jersey, at a place called House of Music Recording Studios in West Orange, New Jersey. And his last name was Bell, but his name was Khalees. And he really was the backbone of the Kool and the Gang band. And this was, a 48-track Symphony recording studio with all the old analog stuff that they got rid of in the 80s and said, "Oh, we want all the digital," but now all the analog stuff is coming back. And this was a 48-track Symphony recording board, and it was one of the very first ones actually made and brought to America. It was so big, we literally had a jackhammer the wall, the doorway, and part of the wall, and frame it again to keep the weight up and bring the damn thing in. It was really something else. But I remembered you asking me, so I looked around for this. But in 1993, here's a picture that no one's ever seen before. And hey guys, when you're texting your little things down below, I can't see it. My eyes are the shits. So in 1993, we were talking about Tommy Fierro and last time, and how I took him to the bar for the first time and got him loaded and everything else. Well, the day Tommy put Jimmy into the New Jersey Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, Jimmy and I, Jimmy didn't wear suits, and I hadn't worn a dress suit in 10 years. So we went out shopping in blood suits. I think it was I think we spent $1,000 between the two of us. And this was Jimmy and I at my mother's home. And you can see, gosh, I couldn't have been 28. Jimmy was like 48. And we're dressed up in our suits and everything, and to see Jimmy dressed in a tie and everything else, I mean, if you go on to there's a Facebook page called In Memory of Superfly Jimmy Snuka, and a friend of mine was able to pull up an MP4 of the 1996 WWE Hall of Fame, and where Jimmy's acceptance speech, and you see the outfit that we had on, and Jimmy. Here's a funny story. Jimmy tells me, brother, he says, Vince always never liked how I had this tiger and that print and this print and that print. And why don't you match? Why don't you match up, do something? And if you remember, and late in Jimmy's WWE career, when he was putting over The Undertaker and making, Kurt Hennig and all those guys, what happened is Jimmy was in Japan and he had boots made and he had 2 broken toes. So he protected his feet. At one time, he was wearing these Indian style boots with the fringes, but it really didn't protect the 2 broken feet. So he was in Japan and he has boots made, but instead of getting something like that would match, Jimmy got every color imaginable. And you can see those boots when he wrestles in ECW with Tommy Dreamer. When he wasn't barefoot, he was wearing boots, and he got every color imaginable. So in 1996 Hall of Fame, they take Jimmy for some pictures, and I'm standing there by myself. This is before the incident where we're sitting with Mark Henry with the broken, he had a crutch, and Snuka, and Sheiky, and everybody with, going in and out with Sonny and all. Before that, we're just sitting around, and Vince McMahon comes walking over with Pat Patterson, and he walks right up to me. I didn't realize how tall Vince is. He walks up to me, and he grabs my hand, and he's shaking my hand with both hands, and he's saying, I want to shake the hand of the man who was able to get Jimmy Snuka to wear a matching outfit. I mean, priceless to me. Maybe not to, some other goofs, but to me. So this is how it all started right here. Oh, wait a minute. Before we even go. I'm going to show you this, but there's a picture. Where the heck did it go? I'll find it. So, no, that ain't, but that's all right. Okay, so the Metal Maniac, right? So this was a drawing that I did of me. And at the time, my hair was back, so, I was just trying to put something together. And this is where the idea originally came from, that developed into that and developed into this. And this is the actual first picture that was taken of me. And as we go along here, you're going to see, here's another one, old school picture, black and white, because at one time they wanted black and whites. Oh, look, the Metal Maniac on the gas, the Metal Maniac on the gas downstairs at the ECW when they were still wrestling at this little bar on 13th Street. Where is it? Oh, you may take a look at this. Hannibal, I think you might like this one. This one here is with a very good friend of the family's. And she'll be appearing right up. Oh, there she is right there. But you can see, check this out. It's really fun. Really fun things that we did years ago. This actually, these pictures that I'm showing you right here were when I went to Bill after I drove out there. And I know I told you the story how I just went out there and she was with me and we put the gimmick on. I painted her face. And I was surprised, that she let me paint her face. And this was another Bill after picture that, let me see if I can get it without the lights banging off of it. But you can see, oh, wait, where is she? Yeah, okay. So let me move it over. Yeah, so she looked good. and the hair was long. The Maniac was really, trying to, make a statement, And here is the first thing that came out. Bill Apter's Wrestle America. Right here is Wrestle America, August of '92, and that means it would have to be produced in the rears at least 8 weeks for them to print it. So 8 weeks before then. So that's 4 months. So 4 months before August, and I had hit, March, April tops, and here it is, Wrestle America, and I cut it out like a dummy. I never knew that, I never knew that the what do you call it, the tape was gonna, ruin the damn thing. But here it is, and it's just, I'll read it to you in a second, but it's got the little thing in here, and it's got me with Derek Domino, and this is me putting the finish on with Derek Domino, and it says right here, it says, keep an eye out for the Metal Maniac, a powerfully built newcomer, competing throughout the East Coast and in Hawaii. He looks like a young Ultimate Warrior. That was a nice thing to say about me. And here is the very first. This is what Bill Apter gives to people after years and years of being in the business to help them get a little push. This was December of '92, and as we said before, 8 weeks prior. Look, the wrestler, the introducing file, and it's a whole banana, and it's got, look, a 2-pager, 2 full pages, and 1992. Let me see. This is funny how you put this together. He does this whole thing, and he says, "I might be wrestling's busiest man." It says, "Thus far, the Maniac has been exceptionally well traveled for such a young wrestler. He's already competed in Hawaii, IWW in Arizona, ECW, IWCCW, NAWA, the Century Wrestling Association, and several other independent organizations. In addition, he went to Singapore, Great Britain, isn't there anything you'd like to talk about, Maniac?" Yeah, it said that I want to know when my next photo session is coming up, and what he said. Bill Apter says, "What photo session?" I said, "The 1992 Pro Wrestling Illustrated's Rookie of the Year." And I've looked for it, but I can't find it, but I had it. But in the later books, when they show the almanacs, the newer almanacs, they're all wrong. They don't even reflect what really was. I have the magazines, but they're all stacks and stacks and stacks. But here you go, top 500, number 250, first year, number 250, first year, top 500, right here, PWI, top 500. Oh, let me move those stupid fingers. And you can see right here, ranking the top 500 men in wrestling today, number 250, the Metal Maniac. And here's some early ECW wrestling pictures with me and Jimmy. Look at Jimmy at 48 years old, just jacked, pumped, tan, looking fantastic. And this is at the ECW arena. And I really didn't know nothing. I was just a complete idiot. There he knocked me on my ass, and he takes it up there. He ends up, flying cross body and stuff.
Could I slip in a question here about Jimmy? A quick question about Jimmy? Could I slip in a quick question about Jimmy, what he did for his workouts?
Yeah, go ahead. Try it, because I can hardly hear you, and I don't even see it, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, it has to be the distance with Hawaii. But what did Jimmy do in the gym? For the gym, for his weightlifting.
What did Jimmy do? I'm sorry, what did Jimmy do when?
When he worked out in the gym for weightlifting. For weights.
Yeah, I can't.
Oh, you know
I can't.
Okay, for pumping iron, for lifting weights. What did Superfly do?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time. Okay. I can't make out what you're saying.
Oh, okay. I'll let you keep going on then. Apparently, there's some type of issue with him being in Hawaii, not being able to hear me. We'll try it again when he comes back. Maybe when he comes off and on. Here he is. And then I'll just let him go. Look, read the question.
Go ahead.
What was Jimmy's workout routine?
Okay. Jimmy, when I finally was with Jimmy, his routine had changed. Because if you remember, he was very swole and jacked and gassed. But Jimmy, if you look in 91 of the pictures of Jimmy's triceps when he came back, one of his triceps had snapped and he never fixed it. And the other one was deteriorating because it was injured. And so you can see that, you know, his bicep was like humongous in the front, and in the back, the lower head was just rolled up. So the tricep was just messed up. You know, it was just a complete mess. But, you know, from what I understand, you know, from guys that worked out with him when he was really at his max, Jimmy was doing, he did 525 for 3 reps, but never knew his max. Used to use go light with 50 to warm up. He used 100, 100 and a quarter, and 150s incline. And then the rest of the stuff that he would do would be heavy legs, but not squats, leg presses. And his leg press routine was grueling. He always had great legs, and he God knows, he almost killed me. He would do 1 plate, 50 reps, 2 plates, 40 reps, 3 plates, 30 reps, and 4 plates, 20 reps. And bro, the first time I did that, and I had worked out legs for years, but never to exhaustion. Well, I shouldn't say that. When the Nautilus machine first came out, you're a younger guy than me, so the Nautilus machine might not strike a bell for some people, but the Nautilus machine was negative resistance. So if you pick something up that's positive, and you're negative, you may not be able to move 1,000 pounds up, but you may be able to keep 1,000 pounds from killing you until you get some help. And so it was a negative thing. And Jimmy was just strong, negative, positive. No matter which way he went, he always had super strong legs and calves, but genetically, he was just gifted, you know. But later on, everything was about reps. 5 sets of 15. He wasn't trying to be as big. He was just trying to be as ripped as he could be. And if you look at, I think I may have it in here. There's some pictures of Jimmy where it's like this was right at that time. I'm going to see as I'm talking to you. I'm just going to brush through real quick to see if there's. I know I have, but I'm just talking about. He really was just ripped. I mean, he really was ripped. I mean, holy, just wow. I mean, he was just. No, I'm not seeing. Oh, here's a picture. Here, let me pull this out. Here's a picture of. Okay, so here's Bill Apter, and let me get the angle right. Here's Bill Apter with me and Jimmy, and if you look at him, let me see if I can do this right. I can't really see the screen, but if you really look at his arms, You know, you can see that lower head and the tricep isn't as swolled up. Even here in this picture, it was somewhat, that was his better arm. But actually, yeah, that was his better arm, you know. And then here you can really see the lower head of the tricep really wasn't there, because Jimmy's arms used to be round all the way down. So you could see that, you know. But look, he was still. This is me catching him at the ECW arena, just a flying crossbody out of the corner, you know, instead of splashing me. And we did a roll up thing where, you know, he rolls me on top of him, and then he schoolboy me 1, 2, 3. A small package me actually. So yeah, so he, you know, he was genetically gifted. I mean, you know, there were guys who were super strong. I mean, I've seen Tony Atlas. Sure, I saw Tony Atlas do 600 pounds. Oh, here it is. I saw Tony Atlas do 600 pounds reverse grip for 3 reps. The bar was sagging. I thought the son of a gun was going to snap. So here's a picture. This is very early on. This is at ECW. And you can see Jimmy. Wait, let me try to get the angle right. Look at it. Jimmy really was, you know what I'm saying? He really was ripped, you know. And let me see if I can get you the legs. Let me see. His legs weren't as big, but man, they were damn strong, because he used to kill me. And there's the Magnificent One, you know, when he was actually still magnificent. And you know, so here's a cool shot, brother. I think you'll like this one. I got Jimmy. Oh, is this wrong way? Here you go. This is me suplexing Jimmy back into the ring. Back into the ring. He liked to do that spot where he'd go over the top backwards and you'd beat him up a little, pull him back in that way. You know, and then he'd take a face bump. This was from 1994. So I was still wet behind the ears yet, still not fit. I still couldn't figure out, you know, my ass from my elbow. There's so many, you know, there's this one picture. I just had it. Oh, well, here's a picture with the Maniac with Miss Hawaii. This is way at the very beginning. This has got to be like 94, so right about the same year, you know, looking jacked, looking tan, and shoes looking fab. But, you know, so here's another one. The old Metal Maniacs shirt. See, that's the old shirt. And I'll pull this out here because I think I got the actual drawing here. Oh, wait a minute. As I'm pulling this out, I mean, it's just the guy back then did some good artwork. I did some good artwork. I can't find it. But that shirt that I was showing you, you know, it was reasonable artwork. But as you know, there's a guy named Franklin O'Neill, and he does these, wait a minute, cartoons. I'm going to lift this up here. You can see it. Franklin O'Neill. His stuff is featured in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in Texas. And you could see his work. And Hannibal had this on as the ad, that picture for the ad. And he does fantastic work, Franklin O'Neill. And I know that the Blood Hunter is getting one. I heard from Franklin O'Neill. He was commissioned to do that. And, you know, there's, you know, hey, you know, this guy's super talented. And this way, I'm looking for this one. I'm looking for it here. I'm looking for it. Oh, my goodness. Where is it? I know I just dying to show you. You know who this is? Oh, that's the picture of the Blood Hunter. Go back. Yeah. Look at that. And look at the blood on the floor. And blood is everywhere. And it's just, I mean, it's coming out of his fingers, and it's coming like literally out of his skull under the mask, and it's just, I mean, that's just incredible work. I mean, just incredible work, this guy Franklin O'Neill, and he's just super, super nice guy and extremely talented. And I'm gonna tell you a funny wrestling story about Tony Atlas and the character Doink the Clown. Now, there's been a lot of doinks, but let me ask you, can you guess who this is? Because Tony Atlas could not tell who this was.
You.
And this is how I was this day. You know who this is? Well, let me show you another picture. And then let me show you another picture. Maybe somebody's going to figure it out pretty soon. Somebody that could do face paint. Somebody that could do it. This was at a time where Matt Bourne was the guy, and he just went independent, and he just couldn't stop getting wasted and missing dates. He just couldn't stop missing dates. So the next thing you know, somebody gave me a suit. Here's the Maniac before the Maniac. I was like, what, 21, 22. I was definitely a 500-pound bencher there. I know for certain I was using the 150s. And here's another oldie but goodie right here with the Hammer, Greg the Hammer. And look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Do you know? I mean, here it is. This is the day. Tony did not know it was me until I spoke. He sat in front of me and he looked at me and looked at me and looked at me and just couldn't figure out who it was. And it was Tony Rumble's show up in Boston. And he couldn't tell until I said, brother. He goes, he used to call me not Maniac. He would call me Mania. And he would say, Mania! I can't believe it. Here's something. If some people don't remember the old school wrestlers, but this is Curtis Ilkea, Curtis the Bull, at his house long before he passed away, but he was still living and partying his brains out. And that was him and his grandson back then. Well, that grandson's a big boy now. This right here, I don't know if you can see this. This is a Polaroid picture. And I have this on my Facebook, and I have it on the Metal Maniac fan page. But I don't know if you can see this. But when we went to Japan, we went for the military's Welfare and Recreation Department, MWR, and the USO. And this was taken in the back. And this was our first overseas trip. And it was a pretty special time. I was wearing the beefcake armbands. and the hair was in the back over there. You can't really see it. But this was, and Jimmy was what? I mean, he had to be, if I was, I was 20, 29. So Jimmy had to be 49 in this picture. You know, and looking just jacked as all hell. You know, he was really, God, he was so gifted. I mean, so gifted. Here's Jimmy and I at King Curtis's house, you know, after a long, long night. as he would say, a lot of guys have stories about King Curtis over here. Well, King Curtis, he used to have a friend from California who was a scientist, and he'd make him the LSD, and all the boys would come down to Hawaii, and he'd pick them up at the airport and say, hey, just lick the cookie. Don't eat it. Just lick it. And he'd just lick it once, and you'd be up for 3 days, and he had it on a necklace. And he'd have like 5 cases of beer, and he'd go drive all high on LSD up to the top of the mountain, and he would just sit there, drink. The cops would come by and just leave him alone. They knew who he was. His father was the police chief. They just let him be. Back then, it wasn't this before me. And then when I first met him, he still had some of this cookie left. And he said, take a little lick, Dawn, not too much, just a little bit. And brother, I'm not kidding you. I saw the sun rise 3 times in the same day over time. Unbelievable. Oh, I got something just for you, Hannibal. Just for you. Wait one second.
All right.
I'm coming right back. Hang on.
By the way, guys, there's a lot of news in there.
Where is it?
Wrestling Observer review tonight.
Where is it? Where's the gimmick? Where is
Zodiac? I love
Where's
it.
the gimmick?
Hey, could you hear me at all? Can you hear me at all? Did WCW take the Zodiac idea from you?
Say again?
Did WCW get the Zodiac idea from your makeup? Do you remember the Zodiac?
You're breaking up, brother. You're breaking up.
Okay, I'll let you smoke. Oh my God! YouTube kicked him off for smoking his joint. Hopefully he'll pop back and continue this monologue that he's in. Samurai, there is a lot of people that know him that grew up in the 90s.
I got your back.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, really good now.
Okay. Do you remember when Brutus Beefcake was Zodiac in WCW?
I remember seeing it, but we didn't really watch the TV because we were booked. And Jimmy never watched any wrestling unless he was booked and watching himself. He would never, he would just say, brother, am I booked? No, I don't watch it.
The makeup was similar to yours. They may have got the inspiration from you. Yeah. I'll try and find a picture while you have that.
Now I'm losing you again. So while I'm waiting for your audio, take a look at this. This is me, 2000, and this is 2000 and what does that say? Oh, I think this is 2002 at the Menon Arena in Morristown, New Jersey. The place was jammed, and it was me and Jimmy was. I think I don't know where. I think Jimmy was on the show. They normally would have put me with him, but I think Tito said I want to get on a little early, and I was ready, so they sent me out with Tito, and he was doing his AWF at the time, and he was trying to really pick it up. I saw it on television all the way here in Hawaii in 95, 96. No, sorry, 2000. Yeah, 2001. So this was back then. Here's a friend. Hey, here's a pre-Maniac. Here's a pre-Maniac swole picture with my roommate, who was a college guy, and you could see Maniac was pretty. Looked like kind of like Hannibal. If you look like that, that's a hell of a. Hannibal's jacked up, man. I don't know if you've seen him. I mean, he just you don't think that guy is into. You see, oh, look at the Zodiac, man. Wow. Whew. Hey, they gave Brutus a lot of gimmicks, but I always liked him as the barber. I worked him one match, and I'll never forget it. I was in Boston, and he was already doing, oh, look, very rare Maniac buttons. Very rare. I saw he had his what is that? A zebra suit, like the shirt and the pants, and like not wrestling boots, but just like whatever he was wearing. And and he was out there doing autographs, and I was waiting for him to come back, and I was going to be right after the intermission. So I see him. He's taking off this outfit, and he's going to put on another outfit. And I'm like, brother, what are you doing? He goes, I'm going to just work you. I go, you're not going to do anything. I'm going to do everything for you. And you're not going to take any bumps at all because, at that time he had his face fixed, his teeth fixed, and, he'd gotten hurt. And he wasn't taking any bumps, and I didn't want him to. And I just said, just come into the corner and I'll move and just, and I'll take over you. That's it. And that's it. And just sell around and, sell for me, but you stay and I'll just pull your hair a little bit and we'll do your Hulk up, mule kick, have a little fun, play with him, and I'll give you a ball shot and throw me off and do your thing, duck the clothesline, and give me the big knee, 1, 2, 3, grab my hair, threaten, and I'll get the hell out. And that's what we did. And it was a lot of fun. And he's had some cool matches, so I'm sure that match, give a shit about it, but I do. And I did. Let me show you a couple things here. Oh, Bill Apter's magazine right here. Snuka beats Maniac for the 100th straight time. This is one of 4 pages. This is one of 4 pages that I have in here. And I have the original, but I made this purposely. I mean, look at the article. I mean, Bill Apter, what the hell? How the hell do you do this damn screen? I mean, Bill Apter. This was color too. This was all in color. Another page. There's 3 pages. 3 pages. 4 pages. 4-page article on Goofy Me. Bill Apter. I wish that our connection was better because I would love to hear I can't see some of the people down below, and I would love to hear some of your reactions. But
can you hear?
Let me show you a little something here. I can hear you a little bit better, bit, but it's still in and out.
Somebody wants to know about Lars Anderson in Hawaii when you were Brock Landers.
Yeah, it's going back to breaking up again.
Okay, sorry, Carol. I tried.
It's hard for me to see. He's into the right ones. So forgive us, but we're just gonna keep rolling because we said we would if this happened. All right, so look, there was a show, and at the time the dirt sheets were, incredibly popular. The dirt sheets. And, the brother, what's his name? He's got the number 1, always had the number 1. And
Meltzer.
Get his name.
Dave Meltzer.
I gotta get his other glasses. I swear to goodness. Dave Meltzer, there you go. And this was called the Woodbridge Fiasco. And this was the dirt sheet. And I put the picture in. Because it really told the story. And let me just give you a quick synopsis, and I'm just going to read this little passage right here. So you got Axel Rotten, Ian Rotten, you got RVD, you got every single guy from ECW except for Sabu. You had Iron Mike Sharp, you had Jimmy, me, a whole bunch of I gotta get these other glasses. A whole bunch of other names. And this guy, he's overbooked it. He thinks he could just promote it by saying, "Hey, I'm gonna have pro wrestling." Well, that's not the way it goes. You got to promote. you got to promote and you got to promote and you got to make sure it gets out in print. You got to have TV, radio. I don't care if I can get this damn. I really want to read this son of a gun to you because it's really important. I'll just read it. It's the best as I'm going to get it. So I'm just going to go into the light here because it's really important to hear this. So all these guys are online to get paid. They're not getting paid. And they're giving them checks that don't have the name printed on it. They're just giving these like new accounts checks to like all these guys. But I don't notice. I walk in, the place is empty, and all the boys are online to get paid in the office because they made the town. So eventually I show up with Jimmy late because we were on last and he just came from the airport and he was at another show and in California and the guy wanted him badly and so he said he would go. So I went to a smaller show and then picked him up and we end up in the middle of this fiasco. And it says the fans eventually left and in the process of paying the talent continued to take close to forever. The gangsters, Louis Spicoli, Chris Candido, Shane Douglas, etc., who were promised plane fares and hotels were stuck. And here is the essence of my relationship with Jimmy when it came to business. Not in the ring, because that's business too, but I mean business. I'll go back. So it says Shane Douglas, etc., who were promised plane fares and hotels were stuck. Metal Maniac and Jimmy Snuka both showed up at 9:15. Metal came in, saw what was going on, got in line for his money, got his and Snuka's, and left. Snuka never left his car and made $750. And what I did was I took this sheet because if they want to ruin you, they can ruin you. I took this sheet. Brother, I took this sheet and I printed it out and I put the picture next to it and it says TCB. Jimmy always said what Elvis said because he loved Elvis. Taking care of business, TCB. Superfly and the Metal Maniac. And it's pretty much what I told you, but it's a much longer, thing. And the last paragraph, and it's just the most incredible thing. If you're me, and I gotta do everything, brother. Jimmy couldn't read. Jimmy couldn't write. Yeah, he could sign his name, and if you told him, he'll say, "How do you spell your name?" J-E, and he would write the letters. He knew that, but he needed somebody to make sure he got where he gotta go, and he wanted to heel. He had to be the baby face. He couldn't be the heel. So, and here it is. The Maniac came in, saw what was going on, and got in line for his money. And he got Snuka's and his and left. Snuka got $750 and never left the car. And I love how people, over the years, they said, Maniac was Jimmy's chauffeur. I heard that on the internet. Hey, goofballs, let me tell you something. If I was a chauffeur, which I wasn't, but if I was a chauffeur, I would be the greatest chauffeur in the history of the earth. Remember, I drove the car. I drove the car because nobody drives me. I drove the car. I pumped the gas. I did the laundry. I cooked the food. But he cooked it. But I cooked the food and I took the splash too. And that, like I was saying, it's like you're a young wrestler, you want to make it so bad, and the next thing you know, you're with the Superfly. I mean, it's just how is that? How the hell does that happen? How how in God's name does it happen? Let me just plug you back in here. Sorry about that. Forgive. Um, how does that happen? Here, Massachusetts. I was telling the story how that one. Wait. No, I'm good. No, I'm here. Are you there?
I'm here, but
Okay, good. You're there. I told the story the last time I was on about how I walk out and they're cheering me, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And they're booing Jimmy, and I didn't know what to do. So well, this was that night. There was coconuts involved too, but I happened to get a picture. Somebody sent me a picture of me that night because everybody gave me all kinds of shit to hit with. Well, I got hit with that pineapple, them bananas, and everything imaginable. Oh my goodness. Here's a good one. These are, people that watch wrestling. Oh, I know wrestling and this and that, and I know this guy and I know that guy. You know what? You know what the pleasure of this business is? You get to hang out with guys from all kinds of people, whether it be Hannibal or Jimmy or Atlas or whoever the heck. It could be some unknown guy who's a gimmick like me who just cracks you up. So if you watch WCW, I know he was a hardcore champion, and they gave him a name Crowbar. But he really was I knew him when he was 17, and I was 10 years older, and he was flying around the ring then under a name Devon Storm. And this is just prior to them taking him from that, and he matured that to just going into and changing him. And his hair was blonde. He's a blonde. There he is, right there. And the black and white means it's got to be 2001, because that's right around the time where, and they plucked him out. 2001, because I didn't have that in 90. No, I did. I did have it in 98, so it had to be somewhere after 98. And they plucked him right out and went straight out. Oh, look, here's a good one. Here's a fun one. Leg dropping King Kong Bundy. This business, look, I'm standing nose to nose with 6'7", 500 pounds. Look, I'm a good 265. Yeah, it was off season for us, it wasn't the summer, so I gained a little bit in stomach area, but I must have been about 270, 6'1" with the boot on, maybe 2 if with the boot, because there's a 2-inch lift. So, and look how big he is, made me look like a peanut. Kind of like if I wrestled the Blood Hunter, he would just maul me. He would just maul me. Look at this. This is George Napolitano magazine. Right here at the WWE Hall of Fame. Jimmy's dressed, and you see he's matching. And I got the tuxes for free, and we were fitted like gloves. And there's us right there. Let me see if I can. And it says there, Metal Maniac and Jimmy Snuka at a private party, And here's us. Look at this. Here's. Let me show you something. You see these two guys over here? Because there's me and there's Jimmy. You see these two guys over here? This guy, like I was just saying, there's guys in this business that may not be super famous or whatever, or you may not be famous, but you guys know each other from the area, regions. Well, this guy here is Mr. Italy, Gino Caruso, And this guy over here is the Mad Russian. He was from Jersey, and he's from Pennsylvania, the Mad Russian. And these guys were characters. Everyone was a character. I mean, and I was so lucky. Look at what they did here. They got 2 wrestling magazines. One's Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and one is The Wrestler, and Wrestling 93. And it said Wrestling 93. This is the month in Wrestling 93, and 2 magazines, Wrestling 93 Rule Breaker, and the Wrestling 93 Rule Breaker. And it was the 10 best rule breakers you've never heard of. Well, he's using Hulk Hogan and my picture, in these 2 magazines, promoting another magazine. Here's the 2. Look at, like an idiot, I cut it out. The 2 magazines, the month, right? Wrestling 93, and then look at there's Hulk Hogan right there. You can see it. There's Hulk Hogan, and he's got my picture. He's using my picture to promote another magazine. I mean, when I was talking about swallowing a grand piano the last time, I don't know if you guys remember the Z Cavaricci days. So some of you older dudes, those are Z Cavariccis, brother. Look at those cowboy boots there, brother. You didn't see any of that in Texas, brother, daddy, because you see that boot right there? Whew, that was a special boot. That came like that. It wasn't accessorized. It came like that. All that stuff was hammered in and stitched in there. And I had the giant, those muscle shirts. Oh, wait, I think I'm a lot older than you. Those were muscle shirts. You cut out the neck, and then you had the string tank top. And this is definitely back in the early 90s, before Zubaz. Okay. Here, this is a Pride and Joy picture. I was given this picture by I think Giant Baba's daughter. I think Giant Baba's daughter gave me this picture from Japan. I didn't know where it came from, what magazine. I met her on the beach down here in Hawaii. She goes, "Is this you?" So, and then she gave me a copy. Here, let me show you how lucky I am. Here's another. Here, look. Here we go. Who's that? That's the boss man right there. And this is Steve Kern as Doink. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Hacksaw, Tito, obviously. And then there's Big Barb. He was a lean 305. He was a lean... He was a lean 305 at 6'7". And there he is, right there, Ox Baker. I can't believe I remembered his name. I'm just, here's another one, classic. Here's some classic, really classic pro wrestling stuff that I was able to do when these guys, like this guy, before he was thought of, and he was on the Wall Street doing, selling and buying and selling. Colonel, this is like 19. Seriously, I gotta say, this has gotta be July 1992. Colonel De Beers. This was same month with Tony. Which way? Here we go with Tony, but this is Hercules. This is Hercules. Let me see if I can get it better for you guys. Hercules. And he was Hercules. If there was a guy that really, I'm sorry about that glare. Let me see if I can pull this out for you. If you're going to really like this, WWF people, WWE people, big time, watch. All right, so this is much better. Well, a little bit. Herc, tell me who that is. That's Taz. And they took him out of that to be an announcer. He was a suplex monster. Suplex monster. Suplex, I don't care how big you are, whatever. He was an amateur wrestling champion, collegiate wrestling champion, and you could be a big boy, but he's going to suplex you if he wants to. You know, you're going to have to come back around. Here, my first trip to the Middle East, Jimmy insisted I would be on it or he wasn't going. And in Arabic, if somebody wants to check out what it says, I was told it says the big surprise. But I think that they were trying to make it look like, you know, I might have been somebody else with the face paint. You know, because over there it's kind of sketchy. You know, and I was in Amman, Jordan. That was another story I'll tell you. Look who's right next to him. Look, the Russian bear. Come on. I mean, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I'm taking it out of the book, guys. I'm really gonna try. No, it won't come out of the book. It's really in there. Okay. Who is that? You see, who is that? Look how small. If I'm bigger than you, look how small. David Finlay, look how small. He was as hard as nails, but look how small. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Now, obviously, you know, Dynamite wasn't as jacked as he used to be. And like I said, if I make you look small, you're small, but oh my God, he was evil. I'm a nice guy, helped me a lot at the end, but old school pro wrestling. Gary Hart. This is at the Sportatorium. The Sportatorium. Mike Davis. What did I call him? Mean Maniac Mike. I remember doing the promo, and they just said go, you know, and it was live TV, and I was just like, he said, Mean Mike Davis, the Metal Maniac. I said, no, you dummy, it's Triple M to you. This is before the Triple H. I said, Triple M to you. His name is Mean Maniac Mike. Meantime, that was the Global Wrestling Federation. This is right when Buff Bagwell, who was still didn't do Buff yet, just went to WCW. That's kind of right when I was in there with Rod Price. I wasn't in there the whole time with Rod Price, but I was there right there with Rod Price for like a little bit, and then I got to work with him on, not on TV, but at a house show. But man, first time I worked with Rod Price, all these guys in the back, they were either cool and they were, the older guys, and I didn't know them. I was just quiet, shook hands, well, sit down, be quiet, sat in the back. A couple of these younger guys were like, oh, you're working Rod Price? I'm like, yeah, why? Oh, no, okay, have a good match, and saying, what the heck? So all of a sudden, I go out to the ring, and I seen him on TV, and he was definitely nice enough, and when I would see him in the locker rooms, hi, how are you? And hey, you come on, sit down over here. But I never worked with him, so he snatched the headlock. I'm trying to jump out to my thing, but he's a heel, and I'm trying to be a heel, and I don't know. I never spoke to him. I didn't speak to him at all. There was they were keeping kayfabe. They didn't let us come together. And I was in this little bathroom waiting to go on. I painted myself in the car, oiled up outside, came in, and never spoke to him. I just knew it was Rod Price, and I had seen him, the weeks before at the Sportatorium. So I go out, he snatches the head on, and he says, tackle. So I give him a tackle. Well, he gives me a tackle, but nobody goes down. And he looks, and I hear him go, all right. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but it was about 2 seconds. He throws the arm over. Boom! Here comes the knee. Boom! Boom with the knee. And he starts doing this thing where he's got your wrist, he's got you on the rope, he's kneeing you, shoots you off, but hangs on to you. And then you hit the rope and come off, and you get it again. And he works you over, and then he do it again. And he did it again and again and again. And I'm just going along, and I'm pacing myself, but I'm just going along because it's the first time I went over like 5 minutes, and it's getting 10 minutes. And then he's snapping me over, and he's calling this and that. And I finally realized he's working with me. He's not really trying to, he's just snug a little bit. And brother, he pulled 20 minutes, like he reached up my ass and pulled out the 20 minutes, whether I was going to give it or not. And that was a nice little match, and I learned so much from that. And then, when he would be in the gyms, he'd be like, hey, bro, if you want, come over here. I'm like, oh, I'm doing this thing that Jimmy has me doing. He goes, all right, keep doing what Jim told you to do. And great guys, Akbar, hey, Jeff, Akbar. Oh, here we go. I can't believe it, Bubba. You don't know. I'm Hulk Hogan. I do best job for Hulk Hogan. And here's the gimmick man himself. Let me see, Jake the Snake, right there. Doesn't get any better than that, really. Oh. Look at this. My first night at ECW in the bar. I did a house show. This is the first TV. First one. I looked pretty good there. I was about 270, 265, 270. That's not bad, for a fat, chubby Jewish kid from New Jersey. My genetics were the shits. But lucky, fortunate, never seen before, ever. No one has seen this picture before, like that other one I showed you, that no one's ever seen. Exclusive right here on Hannibal TV. Check it out. No one's ever seen this picture. I was invited back to my high school to speak to the kids about using as much talent that you have to get to where you want to go. And Jimmy said some stuff, and it was nice, and you could see I got the shark bone around my neck, and you see the shirt all cut out. The old, like I said, the old way. This is an IWCCW picture taken by George Napolitano. Right there, the Maniac in the woods. I had several suits, and some of them were either like a raspberry or they were hot pink. That's kind of a raspberry one. He had me in the woods. Came up with that idea. Oh, here's the poster from 1993. The first overseas trip. It was just like what? I was in May, June, July. 6.5 months, and I'm on this trip. And you see how they got me with the chair, and then they got Jimmy in the middle, and they got the girls. Well, the girls weren't allowed to wrestle because this was in Jordan. The girls don't dress like this. They're all covered up. They were paid, but they had to stay in the locker room because they weren't allowed. How they got on the show and got paid, I don't know. Whatever. The midgets. Here, look at this. This is that thing I was talking about, that magazine that he was promoting. And he's got the picture of me with Derek Domino. Derek Domino is an actual super talent. And they were talking about, Ray Odyssey was talking about ratings. But you're into ratings, and it says right here, where the heck? Giant Tiger, Hercules. Where am I? Am I not in the ratings and I cut it out? Oh, no. I'm one above another guy named Hercules who really wasn't Hercules. But Jimmy was in it, and the real Hercules was there. Don Morocco's name was there, all above me. But I'm number 9 in these old ratings little sheets that they used to like put out in the magazines, these little squares, very John Arisi, he would have these conventions. My first convention ever right here. This was in a Bill Apter magazine. Now over here, I'm going to show you this George Napolitano one, but this is Bill Apter's magazine. Well, and this is 92. 20 years later, a lady comes up to me, attractive, young, says, "Excuse me, are you the Metal Maniac?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Oh, I came to see you. Would you sign this for me, please?" So I'm figuring, really, me? Who the hell wants to? She breaks out this. And I'm like, I know this book. How do you have it? She goes, "Oh, well, I bought it." I said, "When did you buy it? Like recently?" She goes, "No, I bought it when it came out." And then she tells me, "That's me." It's just like a total trip. A total trip. Here, right here. Right at this 1992 wrestling fans convention at the LaGuardia's airport. There's Glenn Osborne. Talk about nice guys, who weren't super, famous, who were regional, who are just great guys and great to be with, spend time with. Glenn Osborne. And here, look at this is just a snippet of the shows that we did in England. Mind you, it's cut, it's got tape all over it, but it's really, really all the places that, not every place, like I said, but guys in England, Dave Taylor, he was in WCW for a while. I think he might have been with Vince for a little while. I don't know. Never really popped. Marty Jones, which was an old timer over there, famous. Tony Sinclair, very famous English wrestler that traveled to Japan, who was very well respected. Danny Boy Collins was friends with not Dynamite, but Davey Boy Smith. Let me see here. The Warrior. Well, this was the guy. This guy that I don't know if I told you the story. But I'll tell it to you when I show after this. I think I told it to you, but he was going to be the Warrior. Like they would say, it's an American show, and they'd have me on first match. They hear my voice, and they say, "Oh, it's Americans." And then they have all these English guys working, and then this guy was supposed to be like the Ultimate Warrior. The guy got hurt pretty bad. Peter Mavia's one of the other nephews, Steve Offia, like I was telling you, again, he's the guy who broke me in, and I was telling you, no one's ever seen him do it, but he's like Haku. This guy, the Warrior, got whacked. So here's like Tony Sinclair's name. Marty Jones is a famous guy, like Giant Haystacks. That famous over there, and here's the brother right here. Whoop, right here. Here he is right here. Some one guy. Just take a look at him. You know, about Jimmy's height, Jimmy's size, much bigger arms, and kick you in the back of the head. Nothing you could do to stop him. And this is just some of the places that we were at, you know, Chelmsford, Hamilton, Norwich. Wrestle Call. Look at this. Wrestle Call. This is from overseas. So if you wanted to like call in and hear the Metal Maniac do all this baloney. Yeah, bro. Seriously. I just totally I totally love doing this with you because it just gets me giddy. Here, the Z Cavarici days again. Look, that's how it used to be. The bag, they were tight pants with the pleats, and you tuck them in, tuck the pants in the boots, and that's kind of how the people were dressing. You know, that's just how they were. But those were the meat. Look at those boots, brother, man. Seriously, those boots were they were it. They were it for me. You know, they were just it for me. And I have, like I said, I have been so I have been so lucky. Just the stuff that I'm showing you. Here, look. This is right at the very first ECW, like that same night with Stevie Wonderful. He was my first manager. Stevie Wonderful. Huh. Okay. If Jimmy was here and I'd say, I'm gonna show him this, he'd go, what? Brother, take it easy. Here's me, right, with the chair, and there's Jimmy selling, always selling, making his heels. That's what he believed, to sell. Look at him. He just looks fantastic right off the beach. He's laid out from the chair that I gave him. And I did him another suplex, brought him back in. All right. Tell me who. If you're a wrestling fan, type it. Tell me, who's that? Who's that? Who am I working with? If you're a real wrestling fan, I'll just leave it up there. So just take a good look. I'll give you a hint. His partner was Paul Roma in the WWF. And then WWF.
Is it Jim Powers?
Hey, your voice is great. Okay, I got you. Yes, it was Jimmy Powers.
Hey, do you know anything about Jim Powers and Pat Patterson?
Listen, all I know is, have you ever met Jim Powers?
No.
You ever met him?
I have not.
You just wave. Okay. First of all, he's the nicest fucking guy. Excuse my language. Nicest guy in the whole world. He's just the nicest guy. All right. And I overheard him talk about the conversation, and it pretty much was, got a phone call, and, you know, he just said, fuck this, I'm not doing it. And then, you know, because it was no news. When I first broke in, Siva told me, look, you know, I wrestled with, this is the story Siva told me about Pat, which was, Siva was, you know, before he was, you know, freaky huge and his hair bugged out with the paint across his face and all that, and before the Peter Maivia tattoo, he had gone to from New Zealand to you know, America and Japan and Hawaii and Japan, wrestling, and Peter Maivia on his deathbed got him booked with Vince. They tried to use him as Superfly off, and it just killed his career. But that's the guy I was telling you about. He's, you know, my kaku, you know, but nobody's ever seen it on purpose. Oh, one guy saw it in Japan, I think. I don't know. Long time ago, but what do I know? But so I forget where the hell I was going, but Jimmy Powers says, yeah, I'm not going for it. And he left. And rightfully so. I mean, you know, but like I said, Siva told me Pat would give him, he'd say, get a headlock on me. And Siva would put a headlock on him. And he would lick his nipple and he'd shove him off. And he was like, what the, you know. So he did it again, you know, and he shoved him off. So Pat was a hell of a wrestler. And, you know, he was, you know, I don't know if he was collegiate or what, but he was a hell of a wrestler. I don't know what his real background was, but I don't remember anybody saying, oh my God, he was so dangerous. I don't remember that, but great worker. And he said that he grabbed a hold of him, went behind him, took him down. But when he took him down, he had this thing wrapped around his wrist, and he whispered in his ear, do it again, I'm going to break your arm. And he snapped his arm in a split second, because he knew he took him down and he went around and he had that one arm in like a snap position. I mean, there was nothing. It was you to snap that hand here, is what he told me, here. So Pat cut that shit out, and then from then on, you know, but brother didn't want to have to go through all that. And then, as we all know, there's no news. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. People said they didn't know, but I was told the first day, look, I just want you to know something. If you ever go up there, be awares. Superfly slamming the Metal Maniac ECW arena. These are things. I mean, some of those rare ones. So I was jumping out of my chair. Those were real ones that were really sensational. Here's another fun evening at work. King Kong Bundy and a size 16 on your face, and that has to be from New Jersey with Dapper Johnny and the other fat bastard. I forget his name, and the owner of the company right there, nice Jewish guy, Frederick. And here's another wrestler who very well respected, very nice, professional, very cool. Not as cool as Hannibal, but cool. There he is right there, Rick the Model. That was at IWCCW or ICW show. Now, let me tell you something. When you get an opportunity and your special guest referee is Steamboat, and, he gets involved in your matches. I'm going backwards. And he gets involved in your matches and hits you in the head, and you get the splash. Beep, see it, ready to catch him. When you get that, it's not fair. It's not fair, and I always held it against him till this day. He cost me that match. That's Steamboat. He wasn't having to give me a shot right in the head. And what did he do? Right here, he raised Jimmy's hand. Not nice. Definitely not the right thing to do. He was a terrible referee. Great guy. Excellent talent. God, did he quit so early? He quit so early. I mean, why? I mean, I don't know. Here is Siva Afi once he became the high chief, like Peter Maivia, and he put on the Hawaiian headdress or Samoan headdress, the warrior headdress. Ikaika warriors had this, was a shell, and he put the things in the front, because don't forget now, the Polynesians did cut your head off, shrink your head, eat your body, because that was their culture. It's just the way it was before the missionaries came to the Polynesian islands. And he's Jimmy's size, but he's giant, bigger arms than Jimmy. And he's got the Peter Maivia tattoo. And he's got like underwear, but it's also made to look like sumo. And then he had boots. Let me see if I just lost it. There's boots, you can't see it, but he didn't need boots. He just put them on because kind of with the sword in the back and everything, the boots, the leather matched. On the plane back from Kuala Lumpur, Ipoh, Kuantan, Malaysia. I rode in me and King Kong Bundy riding. Jimmy was in another van. We had a convoy of vans going from one part of Malaysia to the other. And we're hitting, and just this, it's like Japan. It's not as wide, it's like not wide like Florida, but it's long. And there's cities, but their countryside is just like any other countryside, but like I said, Ipoh, Kuantan, Kuala Lumpur. I mean, here's a little bit of their money. I saved a little bit, and like I said, there's things that happen. Here's something that most people have never seen. I'm sure most people did not see. Very disappointed that they didn't get one of these. If you're an ECW fan, I don't think Gary the Pitbull's been on here yet. I don't know if he has. I don't think he pulled this out if he did. But this is Anthony Pitbull. I think it was Pitbull 2. Pitbull 1, Anthony. He had passed away. He had died very young. There's a couple of guys totally not put on TV the right way. Here's that Samoan High Chief Papatele Sivafi. Hit this guy in England. His eyeball fell out. His eyeball fell out. I told that story. He was laying in a puddle of blood. ECW fans and some WWE fans, and then for sure independents. He was called Damian Stone, but he was part of the ECW's FBI Little Guido. And this is way back in Brooklyn in 1992, when I didn't know what a skin the cat was. I didn't know my headlock from I didn't know nothing. Kind of like this guy. Don't want to put him over too much, and he's not that big anymore. But he is in his own mind. Covering King Kong Bundy. Come on. I mean, this is. I mean, if you're me, it's historical. wait. Danny Moth. That's his real name, but he's like the gangsters, and he was the shaved head and all that. Well, when Danny was a kid, and it was like 92, and Danny was really like a young kid. His mother and his friend, his partner, who became wrestling partners, and his mother, the two mothers and the boys, they came to a little outdoor show that was on a street fair, and they paid $5 to take a picture with me. And they have the picture. But I still haven't seen it. But they have it. Here he is again. You can see him a little better. It was more like a spin-off of the Schwarzenegger character, but then you put the shell on the head. That really kind of made it pop. His son is also very talented. Was on some shows in WWE, but I don't know to what extent. Not enough to keep him from coming home, getting married, and doing his thing. But let me pull out this other book here while we're on the subject of different stuff around the world and stuff. Oh, here. This is a Philadelphia, the Inquirer magazine. The Inquirer, but it's not the Inquirer that you're thinking about. The Rag magazine. This is like a local Philadelphia magazine, just sold in Philadelphia. And they're talking about, that it's about wrestling, and you see Biff, pow, boom, bing, bang, whatever. Sock, bing, bing. And this is Rick Barr. I forget, Flash Wheeler. I think, FW, Flash Wheeler. There I am. There's the feet all the way up there. And taking that big slam off the top rope for the brother. I think he married one of the Samoan girls. Really sweet guy. Talented as can be. Another guy like Glenn Osborne. Look at me. See, this is why I love this business. Guys like frickin' Hannibal. I'm on this show. It's in California at Fresno. UWA. Whatever. So they got me. And here's the promoter. He's a jabron. This is me, right? In the magazine, like they're putting out that they're selling these at the show. Look who I'm working. He hadn't been Flash Funk yet. And when we were all hanging out the day before, and everybody from Yokozuna to ECMO to the Pitbulls, you name it, the card was stacked. Greg Valentine, you name it, card was stacked. And I'm gonna work Too Cold, but I don't know when I get there who I'm working. I don't care. They're up, I'm gonna go. Look, they don't hire me for hip tosses and arm drags, you know what I'm saying, or wrestling moves. They hire me for the mic. The mic. So this is how nice he is. He's a badass too, He's a badass. He's not afraid of scrap, and he can fight. He can fight. He may not be Haku, but he can fight. But I don't call him Too Cold Scorpio. I call him Mr. Freeze because he is the coolest. And I'll tell you why. We're at the bar. The next day is the show. Everybody's flown in from Fresno. Big scaffold lighting, a beautiful setup. They did a gorgeous job. They almost killed me with the pyros. Almost killed me because it was right. They didn't tell me they're going to give me pyros. Boom, 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 I fall on my ass. Whatever. So he comes up to me. And we're all buzzed, have a good time. And I wasn't even thinking about who I was working. I didn't care. I was going to wait till tomorrow, go in, see who I'm working, talk to him, and that's the end. Well, they had me doing Doink in the first match with a couple of guys. So it's a double story I'm going to tell you, but let me bounce back and forth. Follow me. When I first get there, I meet some of these young kids, and I'm going to do Doink. And they want me to do the job and kill the kid. And the guy's half my size. But I'm working with Too Cold. So we do it, and we had a hell of a time. But before we went out, there were these other kids I was with, even the guy that I was going to tag with. They were like good friends, and they were cornering me saying, hey, you want to go? I'm like, what are you talking about? telling us what to do. I said, yeah, I'm telling you what to do because we're in this tag match. And I want to make sure that it just clicks, 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 pop, go. Because where we are on the card is like first match. And it needs to be, you need to make sure it's not long drawn out. It's not too short. You leave stuff for other guys to do. At the same time, you get in, establish the baby faces, get some heat, boom, false, and then double clothesline, hot tag, boom, 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 bang, 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 ba, 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 sabba, da, bada, bang, bada, boom. So the kid splashes me, whatever. But the Pitbulls, seeing this, they went over there and grabbed these three guys. I grabbed the other guy. And Anthony and Gary like, you pull this crap when you're out there, we will come out there and we'll kill you. They were like, oh, okay. Match goes far, but going back. So Scorpio, I'm supposed to work with him, but I don't know. Scorpio comes up to me. We're all buzzed, hanging out, having a good time, smoking, whatever. And he goes, hey, bro, do you want to go smoke? So, yeah. So we go outside the hotel. We're burning. And he goes, he comes right, he's like right, he hands me the doobie and he goes right up to me and he goes, it's me and you tomorrow. I'm like, really? Holy shit. You could do any move Jimmy can do. And he says to me, you've been with the best. Everything I love about this business, I started with Jimmy that I loved. He's like, I seen Jimmy do all these things and I learned how to do them and I learned how to do all this other shit too because I could swim and dive and I figured, well, Jimmy was a diver, I could dive too. So he did that triple thing. Boom. So I said, well, you want a Jimmy Snuka match or you just want to go out and have some fun? He goes, no, I want a Jimmy Snuka match. And I said, but do you want it all or you just want it a little or halfway or which one do you want? Because there's match A, match B, and then match C, which is the same thing. It's just elongated, more back and forth as we go along, more back and forth, and then So he goes, no, I want it all. Just tell it to me once. That's it. And call it in there. And that's exactly what I did. And brother, halfway through, he comes out of the corner, flying cross, and go up and over. 1, 2, kick out. As I get up, he's going to small package me. As I get up on my right knee, it pops. Because the meniscus, I didn't know it was hurting me, but I didn't know what it was. It was torn, and my knee went, just popped out. So I get up and I clothesline him. I say, sell it, brother. My knee's messed up. I need some tape. So I can't get no tape. I'm yelling at the guy, give me some tape. And I straighten my leg out. And I got it to go straight. And I'm like, okay, just don't bend it again. And the promoter, that skinny pencil neck geek, this guy, he's like 140 pounds. He sees something's up, so he's going to come down the ring, see what's up, and maybe get in there and now make it a three-way so he would get the time. He's got a shovel. And I'm standing there. Brother is selling in the corner, and I got my hand on his head, and I said, hang on. I looked across. I go, you bring that thing, you bring that shovel in the ring, and I'm going to kick your ass. So he dropped the shovel, came in. I go to stop them. They both stop me, get me in the corner, and they're kicking me. The other kid gives me that X-Pac in the chest, and I get up, and I'm like, fuck, that's it. That's enough. I just walk up the square, I headlocked him. I said, suplex, go home. Boom, he suplexed me. But I didn't mean to sandbag him. I'm a fat ass. I don't usually take belly to backs. But he just, boom, put me right where I needed to be. He went up, splashed me 1, 2, 3, and then they kept going because I hurt my knee. But I'm a nobody. I'm a nobody. And Too Cold Scorpio, I don't even call him that every time I do speak to him on occasion. I call him, ooh, you're a Mr. Freeze, man. Nobody gets cooler than you. And he is exactly that. And I'm not kidding. He really, really is. Here's another guy. You may know who this guy is, Ricky Fuller. Big guy. He was in WCW for a while. He was getting a little bit of a push there for a while with Disco Inferno and them guys. And we were on these shows together. They were. Oh, here's a goodie. A Superstars, Legends, and local. This was in Hawaii. The guy who runs MLW. I forget his name, but you guys all know his name.
Court Bauer.
Court Bauer. Court Bauer. So he's running this show. He's running 2 on Oahu. No, 1 on Oahu at a good high school with a good house. 1 on Maui, where he was living. No, sorry. He was living on the Big Island where Crush was, and then over to the Big Island. And they had, like it says, Superstars and Legends and Logos Pro Wrestling Tour. Let me see if I can pull it out. Oh, I got it out. Huh. I'll go from the bottom up. I'm in the bottom lane. Sabu's on this card. Teddy Hart is on this card. A guy named Prince Iokea, he won the lottery, quit the business. And he was on this show. He just came for the hell of it. Buff is on it. Barb, Big Barb. Morocco is on it. Crush. Bret Hart, Saturn, and I was Saturn when he had long hair. It was called Saturn, but he had long hair, and it wasn't even ECW yet. He didn't even have any tattoos yet. Jimmy and Eki and Samu. Samu and Fatu, the head shrinkers. Well, Fatu, is Rikishi. Well, the youngest brother, who was Eki with the tattoo. The fake tattoo on his face, who passed away from WWE. So here, I'll go from the bottom up, and you can see Court Bauer ran this show, and the Python, the Cyborg. He had a good promo video. These are some local guys. Wait a minute, let me get onto their side. Oh, there's me and Kaimana. And here's the brother over here. He won the lottery. No, I'm not kidding you. And there's Teddy. Terrible Teddy right there. Great guy. Super talented. God, I wish I was that talented. And there is the Sabu. I don't know who that. Oh, Buff is the stuff. And our brother right there. Big. Very big.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Rod Price is to tell this jobber he loves you and he says hi.
Oh my God! Rugged Rod, brother! He tackled me, brother, and it was like an explosion. I didn't know I was supposed to take a bump. And he went, all right. And this guy used to play pro football for the Raiders. This guy was a 1,000-pound leg presser. Holy crap. And he got 20 minutes out of me. He got 20 minutes out of me. All right, so wait. So then there's Samu, one of the head shrinkers, and then Eki, who passed away. Talk about big, strong, talented. He flipped guys going around like a pancake. Eki. He just he throw guys around, 300-pounders around like they were like potato chips. Here. More proof of Bill Apter. More proof that Bill Apter did everything in the world to help me. This is the original first Pro Wrestling Illustrated's Wrestling Almanac. In this, there was only 2 people that did not have a contract and had their picture in this book. I didn't have a contract, so I was just starting, but Bill put me in this book, and the next guy who was not under contract at that moment, because he was indie, was Sabu when I first met him. I'm going to show you the cover, and then I'm going to show you the rating. I'm going to show you the page where they stuck me in. And it's a lousy, shitty copy, but this is the original book. And look at the cover. Give you an idea, right when Flair cut his hair, Sting cut his hair. This is right at that time. And here is a headshot from that original first round of pictures. Right there, the Metal Maniac. And it tells you exactly the right number 250. I think the first year, it was $399 or $4.99. And then from there, it went on. And Rugged Rod Price, if you're still watching, I was talking about you earlier. So I don't know if somebody called you. Okay. And this is here. We've had shows here in Hawaii that I ran in 99 when they had us above the fold in the Honolulu Advertiser. Here's another one for you. I don't know where the hell I was. I was somewhere. Hey, look, Sabu and the Torch. And this is from 1993. And what's it say? Oh, Metal Maniac won a Battle Royal. Holy shit. I won something. Look, see this guy right here? He is the mayor of a town that I'm in the Carolinas. And he wants to get hit by a chair. And they bring him in. Now, I wasn't in control of this, so I was already a little bit like, why are you exposing the business? Well, whatever. I was getting paid. I just kept my mouth shut. So they bring the mayor in. He says, really wants to get involved. And, he hit the mayor with a chair. And then, the cops will grab you. I'm like, oh, yeah, the cops are going to grab me? He said, yeah, then they're going to take you out, put him in the ambulance and, to make a little stink for the show. And then you come back to the show. The police are going to bring you back in and like a crazy man. And I was doing whatever I was told the promoter wanted me to do, whatever. Oh, brother, man. I figure I'm going to use the plastic chair so, I don't shock him too much. And I didn't hurt him. And I sure as hell didn't do it wrong. But he got wild. Nice guy. We worked out. And he looked at me and he's like, I'm off season, so you could see my drum is out there instead of having a slimmer waist. I was more of a kegger there, but I was 280, 275, and he's, look at him. He's 6'2". He's about 240, 6'2". He's a, pretty chesty fella. He got waffled. He asked for it. I don't know why. Here's another show I was on. Look at this. This is how lucky. The bad guy. The Superfly. Bam Bam Bigelow. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Kurt Hennig. X-Pac. Big. Very big Papa Pump. And the Goof, the Metal Maniac. Right there. Tuesday Night Titans. Here. Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Right? I'm inside the book. Wait. Here. It's another 500. We saw 250. I know we saw 250. 330. So I know I was 250. I was 330. It's right above 331. Where the hell? Let me turn it. So, Bill Apter again. Talk about, hey, look. Hey, I hope somebody calls up Tom Brandy and brother Mario Savoldi and Ray Odyssey, IWCCW right there, circled it, the Metal Maniac right there. And these were how the ratings used to be. I mean, it was like most popular, most hated, Smoky Mountain, ECW. This is at the time when Shane started to pop. And then they had Triple A. I think it was in Puerto Rico. MZW, TWA, PWF, WW, WWA, Dino Sana, and all these different ratings. These were official rating sheets from the monthly, any one of the magazines that they came out with. And I could go on. Look at me. I could go on and on and on and on. All these shows. All these shows. Oh, look at this guy. Here's a guy that should have made it. Here's a guy that made Goldberg look small. Look. He was called the Eliminator. Nice guy. Massive. But he's just, sometimes you can't teach. You can't teach that. Sometimes you just have to. Oh, here's one. Don the Rock Morocco versus the Honky Tonk Man Samu versus Jim the Anvil Neidhart Manu, which the local Samoan guy passed away. Against this guy Abuddin, which is Curtis Okaz's son. Abuddin, not Abuddha Singh. No, sorry, Abuddha Singh, not Abuddin. Wait a minute, Abuddin. Abuddha Singh was the other brother that was close with. He was. He passed away too. ECW was didn't care about his body either. But here's Don and the Honky Tonk Man. Don and the Honky Tonk Man. And then there's, I think that's, who is this? Wait, who is this right here? There's Manu and
were you the Kiss Demon? What about the rumor that you were the one that was in fact the Kiss Demon in WCW?
No, let me tell you, that guy, he went to the same high school as me. His father was the baseball coach. He knew my mother. And when another fiasco in Atlantic City went off in 2001. Road Warrior Hawk and Animal were booking the show. Dr. Death versus Jimmy Snuka Jr. and the Barbarian. The Demon was there, and I asked him. I said, brother, man, you know, they really did this gimmick for you. I said, you know, his voice sounded like he was like from where I'm from, you know, because everybody's got a little twang in their, you know, area. And he said, oh, I'm from Jersey. I'm like, oh, where in New Jersey? I'm from New Jersey. And we were in New Jersey, but I was like, where are you from? He goes, oh, Springfield. I go, you're from Springfield, New Jersey? He goes, yeah. I said, I'm from Springfield, New Jersey. Where did you go to high school? He goes, because I figured maybe he went to another high school because it was a private high school. And he goes, oh, Jonathan Dayton. I go, you went to Jonathan Dayton. I said, my mother works at Jonathan Dayton. I graduated in 81 from Jonathan Dayton. And he's like, well, my dad's the baseball coach. So there was no cell phones. And was there? I don't think we had them yet. I don't think we had them.
That would have been the late
Maybe.
90s, so people would have had pagers and some people would have had cell phones, but not with the text messaging.
Right. I remember I told you I had that text pager that would just come across digital. And Rod Price knows, he called me and said, Rugged Rod called me now. What are you, a big superstar? And I'm at an ECW house show, calling him on the payphone with the phone card. Yeah, so fucking hell, man. I just, you know, I can go from story to story and forget where the hell I was. It's just here's the guy. You go on my Metal Maniac fan page that the other guy has. If you just go look and scroll down, or my page, Jeff Miller, the Metal Maniac. You can go look. There's like a, I don't know, 30-second clip of this guy power bombing me wrong, dropping me on my head. He covers me, but you see my leg is on the rope, but not because I wanted it to, because my legs went limp. Because for a moment there, I was paralyzed for like, I don't know, 2 seconds. Long enough to make you shit your pants. Let's see. Bundy's on the card. Axe. Mr. Hematoma himself. Oh, I can't be in this business. I get a hematoma. Hematoma. Oh, and there you go, Metal Man. Oh, look. This is how, you know, when we talked about the Blood Hunters new shirt that's coming out and this character that was made for me. This is what I originally had. This was the artwork that was on my shirt that I originally had. And I still have one shirt that said the Metal Maniac on it. I still have one shirt. Still have one shirt that looked like that. But we had the it was called the Hawaiian. Where is it? Oh wait.
Somebody wants to know, did you ever meet Danny Spivey or work with him?
No, I never got to work with Dan, and I never was on a show with him. I know I was on a show with Big Sid Vicious, but I wasn't lucky enough to work with him. He was the main event, you know, for Dennis Carluzzo's show. But Dan Spivey, no,
I'll just throw in right now that I've worked with Sid and I beat him. I beat him. Wow. I hold a victory over him.
Well, brother, that is another swallowing La Grand Piano moment, because you know how big he really is. He's looming. I mean, he is looming. So, let me tell you. You know, I think I said this before, but I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I told this story. We were in Amman, Jordan, you know, when I showed you guys earlier that the video. I'm sorry, the poster. So if anybody, took a picture of what that was, and you go find out, I think it said the big surprise, but we're on this trip, and the American promoters made a deal with the promoters in Amman, Jordan. So you're in another country, there's nothing you can do, and when I'll never forget it. And I know I told the story about how Jimmy said, get everybody together, held up the show, made sure everybody got paid from himself all the way down the line. You get to work with a guy like that, and he's willing to, because remember, there has to be, this is a business. Yes, we are guys that have to do things. Sometimes accidents happen. Sometimes, like City, he jumped off a rope by accident and it just got hurt. But people do things, and they do them not to be in vain. They want to do them if it's right. Some guy tried to tell some guy named Jimmy Dio. It's not his real name anyway. So Jimmy Dio tries to tell Jimmy in a locker room in Reading, Pennsylvania. I'm sitting next to Tom Brady, Johnny Gunn. He does the Patriot. He does Sal Sincere for WWE. He's that son of a gun, big fat turd, dumb looking goof. Thinks he's gonna get over, and he says, Jimmy, he'll shove you off the rope and I'll cover you. And he goes, Jimmy goes, you gonna beat me? He said, Brock, you don't beat me. If you want, shove me off the top, put the boots to me, and the referee counts you out. I'm in the match that way. So you don't have to take the splash, but you will not beat me. Tom Brady, Johnny Gunn, call him whatever the hell you want, Sal Sincere, and I looked at each other, and we literally fell on the floor. We were just in shock. But you get a guy like Sid or Jimmy that has a reason, because they believe this has to do this. They have to make this business go. It can't be, no, I won't. No, I won't. It has to be. And still, it's a very physical thing. And sometimes, I see Nails work with this young guy, independent. The guy
there's
went
some
in there
breaking
drunk.
news. New Jack has died. New Jack has died.
Oh, man. Oh, God. Rest his soul. Isn't he married to I forget her name. She was one of the first divas.
Oh, Marlena or Terry Runnels. There was falling out between those two.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah,
Last time I saw them, they were together, and I just said hi. I never really spent any time with him, but I knew her from, just being around Jimmy. She would be on shows, and Dennis Corleuzzo would book her on shows. Dennis was the NWA guy for New Jersey at the time. But oh my goodness, did they say how he passed away at all?
I haven't read it yet. I'll read it right now, actually. Let's see here. He passed away this afternoon following a heart attack in North Carolina, where he's lived in recent years. According to PW Insider, they were informed by his wife, Jennifer, of his passing. So I did do an interview with him last year where he wasn't as charismatic as he was in other interviews. He actually didn't even go the full hour and a half he was supposed to. He didn't even go an hour. So you could probably tell there was a few issues with him then. But
Wow.
he did a lot of stuff. So he survived pretty long considering what he admittedly did over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of his different shoot interviews over the years. You know, different things that were said. You know, when he talks about Cornette and other people, and I never, like I said, I never spent any time with him, but man, you know, I mean, just way too young. The boys just way too young, bro.
Well,
too
we didn't have
young.
any problems with you not going your time. You went actually over 2 hours today, so we'll have to have you back.
Wow. All right. Well, let me show you one last thing. One last thing, if I may, which was really nice. This was the very first.
Jack is 58, by the way, so he's a couple years short of 60.
Wow. Still too young. I'm 58. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Can you see that? It's hard to tell. Right here. Right here is the first night, 1998 World Championship Wrestling. My first dark match ever. I had a whole bunch of them. Jeff Miller, $250. Lakeland, Florida, January 12th, 1998. They see me painted up like this. Jimmy Hart said, "Oh, brother, no, Sting's the man. You can't do that." I said, "Okay, I'll wash it." Sting came in and said, "Hey, brother, man, you don't have to wash it." I tell him, I said, "Don't do that, man, because that'll make it even worse for me. Let me just wash my face and I'll just go out there without it. They're going to let me use my name." But for all the wrestling fans out there to hear that news about New Jack, who actually knew him, spent time with him, his family, God bless him. God bless his soul. You know, but our business, it tends to do things to us. And with that, I'm going to say to you, I'm sorry. I want to say thank you to Hannibal TV. And I want to say, where's my phone call to get my face on the tube? Because the brother said, get your face on the tube, and nobody can talk like me. Put the microphone, tell me about who the guy is, and then I'll talk circles around him while your writers are picking their nose and eating it at 19, who never took a bump. This is the Metal Maniac at the pinnacle of professional wrestling right here on Hannibal TV. Get it right, chubby dummies. It's the Maniac. Wow.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos,